My last trip to Tijuana, and this was long before the border crisis and all that bullshit. Okay, this was a while ago. I don't know, I had to go to San Diego for some reason anyway. I think it was like the border entry, rapid entry. But anyway, so I'm going to different stores in San Diego because I don't have an opportunity a lot of times to, hit up American stores that only carry certain things that you can't find anywhere in the world, so only in the United States, which was so cheap. I was just like blown away. This is like San Diego, pre-COVID, I think it was. And I'm having to go and exchange. This is funny because for any of you guys who don't know, I lived in Puerto Rico for a long time. Puerto Rico is part of the United States, and you can get a driver's license for Puerto Rico. And so Puerto Rico is part of the U.S. So if you get a driver's license and people are not aware that Puerto Rico is part of the U.S., that they'll look at it and go, "Oh, you need to bring one in here from America." And I was in San Diego exchanging, I think it was pesos for dollars. And the lady, I showed her my passport. She goes, "Well, you know their idea, so here's my driver's license." And she's like, "Well, you need to bring one from here." I go, "What do you mean from here?" She goes, "From America." I was like, "Well, Puerto Rico is part of the United States." She's like, "No, sir, you got to go to another." And I was like, "Wow, really?" So, I'm not gonna, dive into anything, make it feel stupid or anything. It's just that it's like, well, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go, but I'm gonna make you aware that Puerto Rico is a Commonwealth of the United States, so it's a territory, and it's just as valid as any other state. So banks are the same, dollars the same. It just so happens that it's not part of the continent. So I go to San Diego and I got to go to Wells Fargo. I go in there and I leave and I see this guy from a distance. He looked like the old Kerry King. If you guys don't know who Kerry King is, Kerry King was the guitarist for Slayer. He's got a bald head now with a big old braid in the back, but back in the old days he had, big hair like this. And he's a big dude. This dude was like fucking 300 pounds at least. And he's running at me at like full, sprint. I'm like, dude, what's up with this? I'm going, I'm passing, I don't know what street it is, but it's a rather, I have a crosswalk. It's green. I'm walking. As I'm walking, I'm seeing people, San Diego traffic sucks. So I'm seeing cars come, and I get to the other side of the median. I hear this guy go, "Hey!" And just as he goes, "Hey," I turn, I look, and this guy full sprint running at me, pants fall down to below his knees and entangle his knees, and whap, he hit that fucking concrete like, and he wasn't wearing any underwear. So this dude's pants, which by the way, fat guy, fell all the way down, tangled his knees up, threw his ass on the ground like wow. And I was like, it was like someone had grabbed his pants and pulled them down. Pants this guy. But who the hell knows? All I know is that stuff like that started happening at that moment. Like from that time forward, basically. And if you guys didn't know this, I absolutely never would say that, oh, yeah, I believe in angels and all this stuff. Because I think that people who say those kind of things are either schizophrenic or crazy or just want to lie to people and make stuff up so they can make money. Because, I mean, come on, it's common sense. You can't see, beings from other dimensions. It's not real. So I was going in with that mindset, and I went to this place, and I met this family. And just so you guys know, I was on a survival thing for 8 months in the woods in Puebla, Mexico. For 8 months, living in without electricity, no water, obviously no internet. I was able to do a documentary, and it was all Yeah, miserable. The last 45 days, I almost fucking died, so almost starved to death. And this family, saw me and they said, "Are you okay?" I had no idea I had parasites. It was just like eating me alive from the inside out. I got real skinny. I had no idea. And so I met these people, and they had their in-laws come visit, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna go walk to because there's this beautiful like river." And they wanted me to accompany everybody because it's just kids and women. So we walked down to the river, and so one of the sisters is like, "Hey, would you like me to do your angel cards?" And I'm like, "Look, I'm not into that whole like bruja, Mexican magic stuff." And she says, "No, no, no, it's fun. It'll be fun for you because you don't know anything about angels, because you Westerners don't know anything about God or angels or anything. So I think it'll be fun if you just, And so she has me. It's basically like tarot cards that are really fancy, foil print, all that stuff. So they're fancy tarot cards, basically what they are. Now, I don't want to say that there was anything to this or there was not anything to this because, again, I'm standing behind what I say. If it's anything that has to do with witchcraft, demonology, or any of that stuff, I'm not going to open myself up to that now, knowing what I know. So, like I said, I did never believed in angels or seeing things that are weird like that. So when something like this happens, it was sort of overwhelming to me that when I told people about it, they're like, "You're out of your fucking mind." I said, "Well, clearly I'm not out of my mind. I'm just telling you stuff that makes me question what we're supposed to believe is real or not." Because now we're in clown world where all this weird stuff's happening, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go with this because who the hell knows what this is? Is this a simulation and this is part of it? Great. If this is part of simulation, then I'm just gonna ride this out and let this thing go because I have no control over what happens at this point. But I was a smartass about it. I was a jerk to the girl who was doing the cards because I know she had a thing for me, and I'm not about to go visiting, visit people's house, and their daughter, like, or their sister or whoever comes on to me, and I'm like, I'm already a visitor here, and last thing I want to do is try and fuck shit up. So sure, I'll do your little tarot card bit, which was an angel card thing, which she swore up and down. It is not tarot cards. It's angels. It's good for you. It'll help you. I said, fine. So I do it, and she has me mix up the cards, and she throws them down like this, and then I flip these cards over, and then da da da. And so she gets these similar, like, Angel Gabriel, Angel Michelangelo, or Leo. I don't know. So give me the famous names or whatever of these angels. And so I go, okay, so what's this mean? She goes, well, this angel here is here to protect you from other demonic spirits, and this one here does this, and this one here does that, and this one here does this. I go, okay, that's neat. Okay, so like I said, I'm being sarcastic with her because I don't believe in any of this supernatural shit that would be outside of the realm that we can't see because there's never ever any immediate evidence of stuff that happens on the spiritual plane that we wouldn't want to have it happen in the real plane. So anyway, like I said, it's all nonsense to me. And if you agree, you would have to say that, okay, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I believe in God. Yes, I believe in the presence of God. I see the evidence of that every day in my life. So I'm not going to question any of that, and I'm not going to go into it any further. But I'm not going to buy into any. I saw the Mary thing on the cheese sandwich and all this stuff. So this is where it got weird because remember, I'm in a place that is famous for angels. Everybody says they see this angel, and it appears over at this place called Piedras Encimadas. And so I go, okay, okay, so I'll just play along. I go and I play along. She does the cards for me. She goes, okay, now mix them up again. Now, mind you guys, I play professional blackjack. I play with cards, so I know how to mix cards up. So I put them down again, And then she flips them over, and then she says, "Wow, these are the same ones. Did you mix them up good?" I go, "Yeah, I mixed them up great." She goes, "Okay, well, this one's weird because now, okay, just like in tarot cards, if like the card is like reversed or it's inverted or upside down, then it means a certain other thing." And I'm like, "Okay, let's go with this." So she says, "This particular angel tells me that you're selfish and egotistical, and really emphasized a couple things about be careful about this and be careful about that." And because this angel is literally the one that has to fight demons the most because of your attitude towards life. And you act this way, and you keep having these circumstances happen. And I'm like, okay, okay, I can run with that. So, like I said, I went into this whole thing with this attitude like this is like a Monopoly game or Ouija board, which that's another subject because if you open yourself up to demonic spirits, then the demonic spirits are there to do what they do, and that's to lie and do destructive shit. But it's also to get their claws into people, especially in the minds of people. The minds of people, I watched it today. I watched how easily and how docile people become when you push back against when you push back against demons. And always thought, you'd always think of like demons or devils to be like these monstrous, like things that inhabit the worst people, and they do. But then you realize that demonic spirits can also inhabit people that you would think would be like Christians or whatever. And that's where things get complicated because Christians always think that, oh, I'm under the blood of Christ, I've been saved, I have no worries about demons. That's not true. You have to always be vigilant against the wiles of the devil. And he has weapons that he uses against you that'll mess up your head, make you jealous, make you envious, and so on. So I learned this stuff the hard way. That arrogance is probably the easiest way. I mean, I got kids keep trying to cancel me this morning because they misinterpret something that I have, and they're like, "Wow." And I could go into detail about it later, but I want to stick to this whole topic of how, angels will come in and do stuff for you, and you'll never even know it because they don't communicate on the way that you and I talk. You and I would talk and say, "I'd like you to do X, Y, Z, and this will be the result." No, they're kind of the way that like I suddenly need to go to the store, and then you serendipitously run into a person that you needed to talk to that needed to have this information or had this situation or this opportunity for you. So in my case, it almost came like a form of clairvoyance because after I did this, I was able to predict almost every single thing that happened after that. And that led me down this rabbit hole, which if you guys are Kevin Samuels fans, you'll understand now that he had a message that was divine. It was something that needed to be dislodged about the world and of communication as far as like decoding what we have all believed and now have known to be not knowing how men and women communicate, so that causes a lot of problems and so on. So anyway, this angel reader thingy did all these things for me for a third time and had me mix them up. And once again, I laid the same angels down. But this time, those same angels that were down the last time were up, and then there was another one that was down, and then had another like a reversal message or what have you. All said and done, they do this prayer afterwards and so on and so forth. So, end of story. We're in this magic village. By the way, this is a regular thing that they do on a regular basis because this town is known for angels and angel worship or angel utilization. Which, if you have any background about King Solomon basically he had like a book and he had a ring that he was able to communicate and control demons and tell demons what to do his bidding, and so on. And King Solomon had like a codex of like spells, if you will, and he was able to control demons and have demons go and do his bidding. and he had like a magic ring. Now, this is an interesting thing because if you are not aware, back in the 1970s, the Burger King, there was an actual Burger King. You know, the Burger King place? And the Burger King had red hair. The Burger King was also a giant. He was a gigantic dude that it was obviously like a mask and it was a real person at one time, but there was it was an actual Burger King. And so one of the spells that King Solomon could do as the Burger King was to twist his ring like this. And when he was in danger or the kids were in need of food, he would just twist his ring like this. And all of the people who were with him would go and transport to this other place. I thought this was the craziest story ever. Who ever knew you could make the connection between Burger King and King Solomon? Well, just so you guys know, the Burger King, the actual Burger King, was based off of King Solomon. Go figure. And the ring of King Solomon was the ring that the actual Burger King had, which had magical powers, which he summoned demons to transport him and whoever he wanted to wherever they wanted to go. These are just the tales of King Solomon. So he was capable of summoning demons and having them do his bidding. The difference is that angels are not bitches. Okay, angels are the servants of God. Okay, so you're not just messing around with some little, rat pack, rent-a-cops. You're literally taking like the presidential security team of special force or special ops, the honor guard of the White House, and saying you're not going to ask them because they're not going to do your bidding. They do the bidding of the Lord. So, why do angels come down here? Well, God sends angels down to protect his people, to carry them from danger. There's all kinds of stories of people into car accidents and so on where they've been almost in a car accident and like literally something pushed their car out of the way. Well, that didn't happen to me. No, the physical stuff, like I said, spiritual and everything, and for anybody to say, yeah, I physically manifested something that I physically saw myself. I never, ever personally have ever seen any angels in the physical. They come to me differently. Like last night, for example, I'm sitting here and my dog has this 1,000-yard stare like this, and his ears went back. And I look at him and I'm like, what? Just like this. And just as I'm looking out of the corner of my eye is a brightness of white and a heat. So, and this is the way that happens because it's always this way. It's not like a physical something that's there that's, with me. It's a presence of somebody always here with me all the time. And now you got, that's fucking Looney Tune. Ha! Well, let me tell you what, if it's not just me, it's me and her and anybody else who's been here has taken pictures and there's feathers in the damn pictures and stuff. So feeling that hot heat reminded me of basic training, for example, where everybody's terrified and, the instructors like throwing garbage cans and waking us up in the middle of the night, scaring the shit out of us. So what is the main thing that angels say to, the people in the Bible? The first time that they appear to somebody, what is the first thing that angels say? They say, be not afraid, right? They say, fear not. So that is not how angels talk to people. Angels talk to people in the worst situations to grab their attention and then reverse the situation in seconds. And what's happened for me is that I've been pushed, I've been pulled, I have been prodded to go to certain places, which delayed me to get to other places to meet that person by accident or by circumstance. So those are like the most lovely portions of when angels are all around you. Well, also not being afraid. Because there's people out here in this world that, okay, I live in Mexico, so People want to play this like intimidation game with me, and I'm like, you, all right, all right, all right, okay. Now, if anybody puts their hands on me, then it's a different story. But just stares and looks at me, looking at me sideways. You know what I'm saying? It's like hey, you want to point a gun at me? You look like you want to point a gun at me, but that's just this mentality here. It's like I love reversal Uno cards. I love going, well, talk to me like an adult, like a grown person. But that might get you shot because they always think of us as the arrogant ones anyway. So the first thing that happened that I started to note, and I actually had to apologize to the girl after the fact. I had to apologize to her for saying that angels were real and that you needed to do all this stuff because personally I thought, yeah, sure, 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 whatever. But it wasn't even a 2 or 3 days that I started to notice. I do forestry and stuff like that. So I'm out studying one day and I'm walking all the way down to the center of town, which is exactly 59 minutes from the cabin where I lived all the way down. Now, if there were no dogs or whatever, I'd have to, change my route. So I would go down this hill all the way down into town. It was not the same route I took every day. It's a different route. I would go this way one day and I would go this route one day because I was always looking for the shortest distance between 2 points. I do a forestry course, and so we have to march up and down the hills, with backpacks on and so on, and do all these exercises. And so I'm trying to find the easiest route that's the most level because when you got like 60 guys and the hill is like this shit, it's all muddy, it's all it's always raining there. So there's a lot of time to train because there are no forest fires, period. That's why I say anybody who comes down here and comes during when it's not, it's a rain season and you're down here training to do the opposite. It's not hot, it's not cold, it's fucking rain. So it's the middle of, like, I'd have to say it's like April or something like that. It's beautiful out all this, sudden. I'm walking to the center of town, mapping out what these trails are going to look like. And I see these two Belgian Malinois. So I see they're not fenced in, they're not connected. I'm like, well, two Belgian Malinois that are puppies will play with you, but adults that are trained are fucking vicious and could kill you. So I'm gonna change my route and I'm gonna go this way instead. Well, when I changed the route, went down that road, and I started walking, I started seeing feathers, like doing this, like in front of me. And I started to notice that there were different kinds of feathers. And I see white feathers, and I saw blue feathers, and red feathers, and green feathers, and then black and white feathers, and then it was like turkey feathers. And I'm like, is this a joke? Is somebody just have like a bag of like a whole bag of feathers and just go and just put them in a straight line from where I just left all the way down to the center of town? Like it's almost ridiculous. It was like little bitty ones like this, and then great big ones like I started to pick some up, because no one would ever fucking believe this. That all of a sudden I start seeing feathers everywhere in a straight line. I'm like, that is retarded. I took video of it. I posted it on Instagram. I think I put it on YouTube. But it was just like, all right, all right. I'll play along. I'll play along. So I don't know what you guys' experiences with angels. Like I said, at this point we're in weirdo world. Like we dropped into another dimension. This is not where we used to be. Aware of that. And one wonderful, wonderful thing about it is that it just changed the way I looked at everything at that point. I was like, well, if this is possible, then let's test those limits because I don't find anything I can measure this by. So let's start measuring this being or whatever this thing is trying to communicate with me ability to communicate with me. I'm like, all right, so let's do this. So it doesn't speak to you like a voice, like a schizophrenic would be like, I am God, I'm here to tell you go kill people. That is not how I think that's the people who are on mental they have mental problems who are on medicine. And most of those people who kill people are on medicine, on psych meds. So, um, I see these, like I said, I'm picking them up. I go to the center of town and got my backpack and have my laptop, and I go to this cafe. I say, "Hey, how's it going?" "Oh, hello." That's the lady that's there. And I come back and I say to her, I said, well, just so you guys know, this lady is friends with people who do beekeeping, and I'm a beekeeper, hobbyist, and these people do full on, honey production. And I need to get this, like, it's a thing that you can read. You put the sample of honey under it, and you hold it up to the light, and you can see if it's pure or if it has like other stuff mixed into it, like sugar or corn syrup. And then you know if you're getting ripped off or not. So I go to this place to meet this lady. We set for an interview. So I'm interviewing her and talking to her about bees, and she has a restaurant that has honey, and there's a lot of people, and they drive bees away. So I said, well, I taught her how to handle a bee problem with smoke and stuff like that. Just like, because she just wanted to sell honey and wanted to do an interview for me. She goes, well, what do you think about this? She goes, what do you think of that thing right there? I was like looking at it, and it's like a smudge that's on the wall. And like I said before, there have been people who have said they saw this Virgin Guadalupe on the wall, or they saw like a stain on the back of a stop sign or something, or a cheese sandwich. Usually it's like the Virgin Mary, but this time it was the Virgin Guadalupe. And the best thing is that I saw it and it appeared to me. Now, what I mean by that is like the lady saw a smudge on the wall. She said it looked more like a wolf. I said, "Nah, it looks to me like one of those idols that you guys love so much, the Virgin Guadalupe." And she was like, "Oh, yes." And she immediately took a picture of it and called like her people in the restaurant, and they all were like, "Oh!" And they take their pictures. And now they have their cameras out. They're like in a line taking pictures of this thing on the wall, and they set up an altar and they put up, you know, you know, candles and the thing. I was like, "Oh wow, okay." And they got mad. They got mad because why they had to? Why does she have to appear to this widow? He's not even Catholic. And I go, hey, listen, no, wait a minute. Hang on a second. You're getting mad at me because the Virgin Guadalupe appeared to me and I'm not Catholic? You're mad at me for that. Okay? I'm telling you guys that this is too ridiculous to begin with. Okay? And now you got a whole line of people out the door taking video and pictures of something that I saw on the wall that nobody saw. That all the people here, not one person saw this stupid thing on the wall. Like I said, it's just a thing on the wall. It's just a mark on the wall that happens to look like the Virgin of Guadalupe. Well, that is apparently how this angel or this spirit or whatever this thing is communicates with me. And so what was fucking crazier is that after that, I get divided to be on the news. Not for that, for a totally different reason. Everywhere I go at this point, there are feathers. Even to this day. Even today. Like, even today. Even this very day. Feathers appearing out of nowhere inside of houses where there are no birds. And this is the crazy part because she gets to see this and she actually sees, hey, oh my God, look like there's another one. I'm like, where somebody like come in my house or something and bring feathers and put them in here? Crazy. They're like, no, no, no. That's just part of the wives' tale or whatever. That Anytime you see feathers, there's angels nearby. I go, well, yeah, well, this is a bit excessive. Like, I could not have, like, okay, if you were to change the settings on a video game and it would be like extra treasures or something like that, that's what they've done here. And it's been great for me as an individual because, you know, I don't know, it's been nuts. It's been nuts. So the first thing, like I said, that happened, like that homeless guy chasing after me and falling down right in traffic, his knees tied together basically with his pants, fucking pants to. So it told me that this guy, this thing, whatever it was, is not alone. She and I had to do something. It was right around like Christmas time, freezing cold, and we're out taking pictures. And we're walking down the street, and as we're reviewing the photos, we there was like an electrical like flash, and the fucking phone at the same time took a picture while the flash happened. And so the picture is of this six-winged angel that's taller than a telephone pole, and it has like feathers that are like a purple, like neon color purple. I've never seen any color purple like this in my life. It's on my YouTube. Sorry, it's on my Instagram. I think it's on YouTube now. So, and it is it looks like a time lapse video with some kind of a hyper filter on it or something. Like it shows like electrical pulsations or something like that. It looks like an explosion. Basically, it looks like an electrical explosion, and it goes way the fuck up like this. And at the bottom, you could see feathers. They're like purple feathers going this way. And then right at the bottom, this thing is so big that literally all we got was just the bottom portion of this thing's feet. That's how big this thing really, like the whole thing. You know how tall a telephone pole is, right? So right about midway up, all the way above the height of a telephone pole, was like at this photo. And down below is like electricity, like lightning had come down. And it was like in slow motion. Anyway, so we're looking at this thing. We're like, what the? She saw it first. Oh, how pretty. What is this? And then I go, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What am I looking at here? So that was the first time that an angel came that I actually had, physical evidence that it was true. So, like I said, I don't believe in any of this stuff that people say that, oh, and all the fake stuff you see on YouTube. So it's easy to dismiss for me. Because there's no sample space. You can't say it is or you can't say it's not. So I take the position of, I don't know what it was. So I can't say it is. I can't say it was not. All I can tell you is that you look at this picture of this thing that we took a picture of, and it has purple and white feathers. And this is at night. So you know what I mean? It's just at night. So I don't know much faking photography happens at night. Stuff like that. But this happened at night. So the second time that an angel came to hang out with me, and this is before and after that light that comes and touches me, and it's hot. It's like if you've ever had a hair dryer on your head like too close, it's not like a burning, like it hurts, but you could feel like the presence of a heater that's it's not pushing air or anything, but it is like radiative heat. I feel radiative heat on my head, and my eyes are closed. So my eyes are closed. There's not like a perceptive UV light that comes on me, but my eyes are closed, and not with a mind's eye view either. Literally a feeling of a hot feeling on my head sometimes. And then at the same time, it is a white light that is like a fluorescent light that is brighter than, like, okay, if you've ever seen like a regular, like the twirly bulb, something like that, that's like one of these big monsters. It's like 300 watts and it's like blinding white. It's actually brighter than that. It's more like if you've ever seen plasma cutters before. Like the plasma when it's super white. It's like super white and like purple. And that's the color, by the way, it's the white and the purple that you see in plasma. So anyway, that was neat. So the second one it appeared to me, I'm hanging up curtains downstairs here in this house, by the way. And I'm hanging up the curtains. And I'm like, awesome, this is great. We're going to go have tacos. So do me a favor so I can, show the people that, are behind me. I'm like, we're putting up curtains today. So, swing on by. Dudes, just before we go have tacos, she's taking pictures of the inside of the living room. And we don't even think anything of it. So we leave. I got coveralls on and shit. So we leave. We're looking at the pictures, and right next to me, literally, like, here's me, and then my back is to the camera, and I'm putting up curtains on a small little ladder, and I'm way up on the ceiling, and while I'm up on the ceiling, this thing is less than a foot away from me. Whatever this is, I was saying, guys, I don't know what it is. This thing that is here with me has feathers. They're not connected to anything. They are the image of feathers. They are the full on, like the points of a feather. If you had like a bird's wing, like this right here, all the way from the floor to the ceiling. And I don't know how big these things are, but to scale wise, they have to be, in the room with me anyway, just the edge of the wing was next to me like this. Now, she took the picture. Boom. We're looking at it after the fact, and I'm like, another angel picture. This is the second one now. Second picture of a friggin' angel. Like, thanks, Mexico. You've weirded me out to the point where I understand why they understand so much superstitious shit. Is because they have, like, stuff that constitutes superstitious, supernatural things. So those were two of the biggest, those were the two that started this whole thing. So now I'm at this point now where I know that they're with me all the time because they've given me like a visual thing to look at and say, okay, doubter, now welcome to Mexico. You get to experience all this supernatural weird shit. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Take your little fucking, baby Jesus ham sandwich and yeah, tell me about it later. Because I just wanted to make fun of people. I just wanted to be rude. And I think that whole being by myself for so long really brought it out of me. It's like, now I can turn things around on people because when they try to be rude to me without allowing myself to be rude to them, it's kind of a superpower because now this thing is helping me, whatever this thing is. I've seen it in the past help me move before I needed to move, like placing me out of harm's way for that moment, for some weird shit to happen and me not to be there, to place me elsewhere. There was a girl named Melissa that was in high school. And she had a boyfriend, not a boyfriend, she had a brother and her father were loggers or something like that. And so she was big into heavy metal. I was a singer in a heavy metal band. And we went to this club, and there was this other bands there, with older guys and stuff. And they see her, and she's like, hey, how's it going? That was the first time I ever saw, like, guitarists that, didn't have anything going on, like, steal everybody's girlfriend. And so they hooked up with every one of these girls. All these guys did. And then they end up going on tour and taking this girl with her. And her father and her brother, which were loggers, said, well, where's she at? Oh, wait a minute. Wasn't he with her? They come to my house while I'm not there. Just as I leave, truckload of rednecks comes in and confronts like whoever's at the house. They're like, no, he doesn't have anything to do with that girl. Are you talking about that girl? She went off with a heavy metal band. He's not in that group. But that diffused the whole thing. I had no idea. These people were ready to lynch me and shit. So that was one time. Then another time was, and this was kind of fucked up, but I had a warrant for a bounce check because I had bounced a check and had to go turn myself in. But I was living in Puerto Rico at the time, and Puerto Rico, is, they're not going to extradite you from Puerto Rico for a bounce check. So I obviously wanted to face the facts and so on, and I paid for the bounce check, flew back to the States, and had to go to a bail bondsman, go turn myself into the jail, and then bail myself out of the jail, and then wait for a court date. And so I went to the jail, turned myself in, got the bail bondsman. About 6 hours later, I'm walking out, and went, took care of that business, and I went to my brother's house. Now, my brother he's a saboteur. He loves to see me get into trouble. He's demonic. So he, knowing I have a warrant, I'm flying back to the U.S. to turn myself in for a bounce check written. And it was from years back. So I was facing the facts. I was facing all the dumb shit I had done. So I had to bounce a check. I had to go pay that back. A certified check. I went to the state attorney's office. I did everything properly. I had to turn myself in. I had to go to the bail bondsman and so on. Now, and now I'm in a different world because I can afford lawyers now and stuff. Because back then you can't afford anything. You can't afford to defend yourself. And it's you against the Black's Law Dictionary, and you fail. So, like I said, I was just cleaning up my act at the time. I was trying to recover from, dicking people over and stuff. So I was picking my list of people I needed to pay this person back and pay this person back and pay this person back. And I thought I had done it all. And someone said, "Hey, man, this is somebody from an AA group I used to do at 7 a.m. And I went there for 10 years, and the group members were really good people. They're like, "Hey, man, we saw this, and dude, this is you, man." And I was like, "What? A warrant for what? A bounce check?" And I was like, "Oh." So you could understand my embarrassment. So when I finally faced all that and paid it off and had to do all this stuff, but it was like a felony. It was like fucking felony. Like felony. Anyway, so that was the only thing. So it was dropped to a misdemeanor or something like that in time served. But the thing about it is that when my brother called about warrants, they were at his house in less than 3 minutes. At the same time, Henry Flagler's granddaughter came to get me and picked me up in her Bronco. And we drove off. We went and had pancakes. And while I was out having pancakes, and on my way back to my brother's house, the brother called me or her and said, "Yo, dude, right when you left, the fucking sheriff came and busted the door in. Where's he at? We're gonna fucking guns drawn and shit." I'm really? Really? For a bounce check? Really? So you could see that was something that there was a common occurrence. Every time they had some kind of immediate threat or danger, there was something that pushed me out of that situation. It forced me to make decisions to leave. So I had an Airbnb that was in Mexico, and it was so perfect. It had new carpet and big white feather down covers and stuff. And we had it rented. It was already reserved for a year in advance. I didn't have to change the rent. It was always the same. I had people renting it for 30 days at a time. And every time they would just, "Hey, is it okay if we extend?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's not a problem, it's fine. If you want to pay for it in advance, go ahead." And so we would never have chiselers or people that were cheap or people who wanted to ruin stuff. And we had people who had money. And because my right here on this street that I was on was the classy area to be. But the landlord saw that we were making 100,000 a month. That's like, 50,000 is like 18, yeah, about 1,800 bucks. So you double that, like 3,200 bucks a month just in Airbnbs. So the fucking landlord is like, well, wait a minute. And I was like, well, it was part of our clause at the beginning that said I was going to be renting the rooms out to Airbnb and you didn't have a problem with it. But now she's seeing that there's all these people like coming and going with their suitcases and it's like fifi rich white people. So she gets the idea that she's going to do what I'm doing. And literally, she changed the locks on my house, locked all my furniture inside. I had to get a lawyer and I had to go put her in jail. And that was it. It's like I was so pissed off, it forced me to leave. I had to literally go to my new house, which is in Puebla, and go be there. While I was there was this fucking Venezuelan guy that went into our place and stole like a shitload of tools and stuff. And so this guy literally lost his friggin' mind. This guy went cuckoo for fucking Cocoa Puffs. Started just robbing people like crazy. And I had no idea because I was 3 months away in another town for 3 months. Meanwhile, this guy went to my house to rob it. He couldn't even get in to rob it. So, like, the lady, actually, the landlord did me a favor by changing the locks. She changed the locks and barricaded that motherfucker in so that I couldn't go and make money the way I had been because of, Airbnb. So, as you can see, this whole thing was like change to change to change to change to change. And it was either to protect me or to put me in another position of something better. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if you've had anything good like that happen, you just want that thing to happen over and over and over again. Because if that's what this is, it's literally like, I'm not talking about genie rub the wishes type of thing. But I've actually started to ask God to start handling people. Like, I don't want to have to whoop this dude's ass. I don't want to have to punish this guy. I don't want to have this guy have to end up on probation because something stupid he did. So I'm going to start asking God to handle my problems and handle these people instead of me doing it. If they have demonic spirits, I bind them in the name of Jesus because I can't do it myself. And so it's just been working. I'm just having fun with this because we should be. Life is too short to be screwing around and being stupid. And if you do believe in God, do me a favor, hit that like button. This has been really good. It's been very therapeutic for me to talk about this because I think my son or somebody is telling me that I need to get this out. She goes, I know exactly why you do this because, for one, you live in a foreign country where nobody speaks English. And it's therapeutic for you to talk to me because, what does he say exactly? But anyway, I don't have too much opportunity to talk to my own kids. So I use live stream as an opportunity to show him what I'm doing, talk to him about what I've done in my life so he could say, oh, well, wait a minute. That's not what my mom told me about him. So, like I said, all you got to do is watch my videos and you'll see that what I do lines up with what I say. And I've fucked up a few times. You know that. I fucked up a bunch of times. But I'm not here to be, a saint. I'm not a saint. You're not a saint. We're not perfect. All of us are stupid. And all that stuff. So all of us are unqualified cavemen. So none of us are better than any of the others. So if that helps. Anyway, I really want to thank the guys at Fire Station 3 in Chihuahua who sent me this wonderful this thing here. So it's very nice. It's also reflective. But I send them a shirt. They send me back a patch or a hat or something like that every time. So, and if you have a patch or a hat or a shirt that you want to swap with me, do me a favor and just hit that like button and write me a DM or something. I'm the professor. I hope this helps you. I hope this helps you because now we're not alone. These aren't aliens. These are angels and demons. And I'm out.